Hey guys, back today. Coach Craig, we're in the really cold but less dirty garage. Got the heat running, but I mean it's a garage. So if you see my breath, that's why. Okay, so what I wanted to talk about today was something that I was actually talking to another family member of mine who is also keto. We were talking about this during the Super Bowl, so I'm a little behind on this, but this particular person, as we were sitting there and we're watching the Super Bowl, and they said, man, it just doesn't feel like the Super Bowl because we're not eating mozzarella sticks and nachos and etc. So that's something that we all have to learn to deal with too as we're working our way through, changing our lifestyle one way or another, whatever diet you're doing. As I've said before, I'm keto, it worked for me. You do what works for you. Whatever it is though, a lot of the reason we all struggle with weight is because we associate foods with emotions. I know I'm an emotion leader. I think most of us are emotion leaders, and we associate foods with events and particular joyous occasions. That's a tough thing to deal with. We all just have to learn to find a way to get around that. Find things that you really love now and use those, or try to find substitutes. I will tell you, a really good option for nachos for anybody out there who's looking for a way to make that work is, you can either buy and or make nacho cheese and put it over plain pork rinds. Works pretty good. I like it. So there's keto friendly options for most of this stuff. There's a lot of keto friendly chips out there. The texture is not great, but they're there. They exist, and you'll learn to deal with it. So that's just one of those things that I wish I had like this. Man, here's a way to solve that, but there just isn't. That's all here, and we just all have to get by it. You just got to really dig in and push on that. You just got to really get yourself mentally past it, and it's hard. I'm 2 years now, maybe over 2. I got to think about when I started. I was, I guess I'm in my second year, and I'm basically. I'd like to be down a few more. I talked about that before, and I'm in one of those weird keto modes. Anybody who does keto knows you have these modes where you get smaller without losing weight. It's sort of weird in your head. It happens. I'm there now. I'm physically getting smaller, but I'm not really losing any weight. Part of that's from working out. Part of that's just from the way keto works on your body. So, but I finally got to a point where there's a lot of those foods that I don't really crave anymore. I locked them out of my head finally. But that takes a minute, man. Like that's not the easiest thing to do, especially when you're somebody who's been literally eating your emotions and eating your problems for 20, 30, 40 years, like most of us have. Most of us that are overweight, that's the issue. And I'd say I would venture to guess at least 65 or 75% of the people that are morbidly obese, it's an emotional thing. So that's going to take a while. And like I said, associating food with events, we all do it. There's those certain foods that you just think of, man, I can't wait for Christmas, Thanksgiving, birthday, whatever it is, so I can have whatever. Right? So getting past that is just something that's going to take time. Again, I've talked about it before, don't beat yourself up if you slip or cheat. Especially in keto, again, I really know the most about that. So with keto, as long as you're 30 days or more in, you're fat adapted. You have a cheat day, weekend. The minute you go back and put yourself in a really aggressive keto eating habit again, boom, you'll pick it right back up. So you will be out of ketosis shortly, short term. You will. There's no way around that, and that's what cheating does. It creates that scenario. So, but just don't get freaked out about it, and don't let it ruin what you're doing. Right? You made a mistake. You cheated. Something got in your head. Whatever it was. You're like, boom, and you ate or drank something you knew you shouldn't have eaten or drank. That it's gone. Flush that shit down the toilet and start over. Just go again. Right back at it, just like you were, and don't let that ruin where you were. Don't, because that's just that's literally a self-fulfilling prophecy. You're literally destroying yourself because you made a mistake. So don't do that, and work hard on think your way through that, right? Like think about if you're coming up on an event or at an event and you're thinking about a food and relating it to the event, try to focus on that and try to get yourself to wind that back and sort of slowly pull that out of your head, right? So yeah, I'm not a psychiatrist or a psychologist, right? I'm none of those things, but I understand the concept because I did it. I do it. I still have foods I associate with events, that I try not to. Things that I, at certain events are like, beer is one for me. There are certain things where, man, I'm like, God, I really want to drink a beer. And sometimes I will. I try to drink something really, really low carb, which we all know there's a few of those out there. And I there's a lot of times where specific events, I really want to sit down and drink a beer. Budweiser specifically, I was a Budweiser guy. I drank straight Bud for a long time, which is probably a lot of the reason that I was 300 and something pounds. So just remember, take those things and find a new vice. Find something that's maybe still unhealthy but doesn't affect your weight. I picked up cigar smoking fairly recently, like in the last year. Unhealthy, but it doesn't affect my weight, so I'm okay with it. And just figure something out. Often all of us, we need something to replace one vice with another. Great, find a way to make that work. Pick up something new that isn't unhealthy per se, but subsidizes those emotions, because that's just something we all fight with. Well, not all, but many. And almost every human being finds a way to divert their emotions to something else. Just many of us use food, which is just incredibly destructive. So that's really all I got. It's just an association situation with your head, and it'll get better. Little by little. It just takes time, and mostly success helps with making that work. The more success you have on the diet, the more likely you are to be okay with putting those things aside. So that's all I got. I started to say this week, but it's stupid because I really don't do these once a week. I kind of do them whenever something pops into my head. So until next time, just keep working. You'll get there.